I first sensed the Queen's attention long before she confronted me. Even among the sprawling living architecture of Cthulhu Station, where the walls pulsed like the veins of a sleeping giant and the air shimmered with bioluminescent spores, her presence was unmistakable. People said she could hear thoughts the way humans heard music, effortlessly, involuntarily, constantly. That alone was reason enough to keep my distance. I hadn't traveled 42 light-years to make an enemy of her. I'd come because humanity was desperate. Resources on Earth were dwindling. The Cthulhans, a powerful and ancient species, had technology that could restore entire ecosystems in days. We needed their help. And as the only xenopsychologist fluent in their empathic communication patterns, I was nominated to serve as envoy. But the Queen, she was different. She was intense, overwhelming, and she scared me in ways I didn't want to admit. For weeks, I hid among the lower chambers of the station, working with ministers, healers, engineers, anyone but her. I felt her curiosity following me like a silent tide, but she never approached, never spoke, never sent a direct summons, until she did. The summoning chamber was enormous, shaped like a spiraling shell grown from some opalescent material that hummed under my feet. The air smelled faintly of ozone and something floral. 2 guards, towering and insectoid with mirrored carapaces, escorted me inside. Then the Queen emerged. Tall, elegant, draped in iridescent membranes that resembled both armor and gown, she moved with a deliberate grace. 4 slender arms curled at her sides. Her crown wasn't metal but living tendrils that glowed softly with her pulse. Her eyes, if they could be called eyes, were deep spheres of shifting starlight. "Human, you have avoided me." Her voice was not sound but vibration, resonating directly inside my skull, soft yet unyielding. I swallowed hard. "Your Majesty, that was not my intention." She stepped closer, the chamber responding to her presence with ripples of light. "A falsehood. You fear me. You evade me. You hide. The others of your kind do not. Only you." She tilted her head, studying me with unsettling precision. "I demand to know why." Every instinct screamed to flee, but I held my ground. "If I've given offense, I apologize." Her aura sharpened. "You distract. You deflect. You apologize. But you do not answer." I felt pressure in my temples, her probing thoughts brushing against my mental barriers. The Cthulhans never entered minds without permission. But she wasn't invading. She was waiting, expecting, had to speak. The truth rose in me like a weight. "I avoid you," I exhaled, "because you remind me of something I can't face." Her luminous eyes dimmed slightly, not in anger but in focus. "Explain." So I did. "My people believe in strength," I began, trying not to lose myself in the way her aura flickered with my every word. "We admire leaders who are confident, commanding. But I grew up under a different kind of leadership." Images filled my mind. The ruins of coastal cities, the gray neutrality of ration centers, the empty streets. My childhood. "My father was a military director," I continued. "Cold, brilliant, unquestioned. Everyone obeyed him, even my mother, even me. When he entered a room, people froze. Not because they respected him, but because they were afraid." The Queen watched silently, her tendrils fluttering with each emotional pulse. "I learned early to avoid people with power, to become invisible, to gauge moods before speaking, to stay quiet. When I met you, or rather when I felt you, I recognized that same gravitational force. Not cruelty, not dominance, just power. Pure, unfiltered, overwhelming power." A tremor passed through her aura like a wind through trees. And you fear that power? Yes, I whispered. Silence stretched across the chamber. The bioluminescent walls dimmed to a twilight glow. I expected scorn, accusation, a lecture about human fragility. Instead, the queen stepped forward and bowed. Not deeply, not ceremonially, but unmistakably. Her tendrils lowered, her head inclined. A gesture of vulnerability no Cthuran would ever offer lightly. The chamber pulsed with shock. Your truth humbles me, she said quietly. I perceived your distance as insult, as dismissal. I did not consider that my presence might wound you. My breath caught. You're not angry. I am saddened. Her arms, two of them, extended lightly, palms open. Not touching, just offering. You see power as threat, but our kind wields it as protection. Connection. I did not wish to remind you of pain. I forced a shaky breath. You didn't. Not really. You just reminded me that some wounds aren't healed by distance. Her aura softened like a sunrise. Then allow me to ask differently. Will you walk beside me without fear? I hesitated, not because I doubted her intentions, but because I doubted myself. But something in her posture, in the rare, vulnerable openness she shared, shifted my fear into something else. Respect. Maybe even kinship. I'll try, I said. From that moment everything changed. The queen invited me to accompany her through the heart of Cthulhu Station. She showed me the living core, a pulsating nexus of bioengineered tissue that powered the entire structure. We visited the Garden of Echoes, where flowers sang memories when touched. And she brought me to the astral loom, a vast construct that shaped gravitational currents like threads of silk. With each encounter, I learned that her strength didn't isolate her. It connected her to everything. The station responded to her emotions. The Cthulans trusted her not out of fear, but devotion. And slowly, I understood she had activated that same connection with me. Not to intimidate, but to communicate in the only way her species knew. One evening, as the two suns of her homeworld set beyond the transparent living membrane of the observation dome, she spoke again. Your people seek our help. Yes, I said. Earth is dying. We're running out of time. Then we will give it. Blink. You will. You faced your fear to stand before me. You spoke truth that cost you pain to reveal. Through you, I understand your species better than any emissary before. I felt warmth fill my chest, relief, gratitude, and something deeper. Thank you, I said. She turned to me, her starlit eyes shimmering. And thank you, human, for teaching me that even a queen must sometimes look inward. The moment hung between us like weightless gravity, binding us in mutual understanding. When I returned to Earth months later, I brought with me more than technology. I brought a promise, one forged not through diplomacy or fear, but honesty. The Queen visited once, descending through Earth's atmosphere in a living star shell that lit the sky. Millions watched her arrival, all replacing terror. And as she stood beside me on the reborn shoreline of the Atlantic, its waters already healing under Cthuran guidance, she whispered, You no longer avoid me. Smiled. I never needed to. Not after you asked why. Her tendrils glowed softly. And your answer brought me to my knees. I knew she didn't mean humiliation. She meant revelation. And in that we both found our strength.